And we're working. Alright, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. I've been calling this guy my Ficus Microcarpa 512, just basically based off a Lamb of God song I was listening to while I made my first YouTube video with it. I was actually thinking I could make these YouTube videos and have music playing in the background. Turns out you get copyright strikes for things like that. But anyhow, that's what it's named. I did get it in March of 2019. It was in a big 7-gallon pot. Eventually in July of that same year, I split it into two, so it's been just about 4 years. You know, July coming up will be 4 years it's been in this pot. I'm going to keep it in here until, you know, the usual problems start arising of like poor drainage and everything, and then I'll try to get it in something a little more decorative. Just trying to work the canopy and everything for now. I'll show you a few other pictures along the way. It was February of 2020 that I realized I probably didn't chop it back far enough, and then I chopped it back the rest of the way. And then, you know, here's some pictures of when it first started back budding at that point and everything. And then I do have this in a playlist. I encourage you to go back and watch some other videos if you want to see it developing. It has been 7 months since the last video. I haven't touched it other than a couple months ago I realized that a couple of spots here, you guys can probably see that. I was having a little bit of dieback. And even down here, I left the wire on there, but I did take the wire off up here. And there's some long aerial roots that kind of start right at the base of this branch and wrap their way around the trunk. Otherwise, I'd probably go ahead and chop that off too. But I'm trying to keep some of these aerial roots that do wrap around and start up high and kind of finish low. You'll be able to see more once I kind of do what I'm going to do today, which is basically just prune it all hard all the way back and also take the wire off. But other than that, I've really done nothing. I did try to loosen up a little bit of the wire that I thought might have been causing the dieback. I actually think the dieback is just because it's just a weak part of the tree. So as I kind of go in here, I may even just leave these two branches or these two clumps of foliage right there, just the way they are, because I would like to try to salvage that branch. And if I take everything else off but that should actually accomplish that goal for me. I don't really want to get the tree horribly unbalanced in any kind of way. But with just a small area like that, I don't think it'll affect it too badly. I'm going to go ahead and get to work. Guys, when I pick the background music to play when I'm doing the work here, I really do try my best to, you know, trying to stay kind of neutral. I don't really like elevator music too much. Alright, and so we're just about done here. This was where I started basically. I started here and kind of worked my way around that side of the tree. I was looking at these. As I went around, I pretty much cut every growing tip. I do want to look at pruning a couple branches, so I don't want these leaves to distract me too much, but I do want to leave these growing tips here. And this is what I was talking about with the aerial root, is there's this one trunk, and this aerial root starts way up here, and it's actually that root right there that comes all the way, wraps through here, and comes up here. This branch just below it was growing okay. Still kind of not the healthiest thing in the world, but was growing okay. But that's below it. I do want to keep this growth above it. This whole piece here died back. It's just dead. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut that nub off. See if maybe still green right there. It was broken there on the twig part. Maybe it'll get another sprout. And then I will just leave that there. And then I was going to look at a couple other spots here. As I went around, I was trying to get most of the growing tips and some of the obvious twigs that were in bad places. This one has a higher branch that's pretty healthy over on top of that scar there. I was leaving this as growth close to the scar, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just take that out now. Kind of missed this piece. That was going straight down. I don't want that. And then this piece, rather than kind of growing out, is also going back. This one is too. I do remember them actually kind of being a little straight up, and I brought them down some. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the middle part out here. Leave that going that way, and even part of this nub. I noticed up here in the apex, there was a few spots where I had some twigs wired up, and it just abandoned that twig and like shot a sprout out the side. I think this, this was the first time I've ever really tried like detail wiring right on down into the twigs. I might have mentioned that in the previous video. I think I remember saying something that was the longest I ever spent wiring. Still came out looking good, but just lost a couple of the twigs. This whole branch here I grew after. You can see that whole branch there. That's all one branch. I grew that after I split it away from the bigger tree and put it in this pot. So this whole branch is basically like less than 4 years old. Might have had, I think it had just like an inch coming out of there. I've been letting almost all of it stay. But I feel like now this piece was almost coming straight down. And I feel like it's kind of covering up the roots there, especially once it gets some leaves on there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And then it should have two separate sets of pads instead of having that long drooping piece in the middle. And again, once I get into some leaf reduction and everything, it should leave the roots a little more visible, and that is one of the features of the tree. That's coming out there kind of far. I'll leave some of this. That's just growing in on itself there. Those two are way too close together. And a canopy tree like this, where you don't really have just like a defined one apex, you have a canopy. One of the things I'm just kind of playing around with a little bit, deciding, if this was the branch on the side of a tree, I'd really want to take that piece out there because it's coming straight up, but it's actually kind of helping form the canopy too. Just trying to learn to train my eye to look, what to look for there. That was a little piece that actually had a shoot out the side. There was wire going up there that kind of died back a little. A couple of these were really too close together. I think that's about it for the day. In the interest of, not only trying to regrow this spot here with a little bit of dieback, but just in that it's summertime. And if the next time I detail wire this up, might be about the same time I did this last year. I did this in July. I might even wait till like August or September and try to leave it on until this time of year again. But right now, I think I'm just going to let it grow as much as possible. Probably come in and try to take out some of the obvious crotch growth and down growth and shoots and everything, but try to let everything else just kind of lengthen out, give me some more length to work with there as I wire it. We'll see what happens.